Good evening and welcome. For decades, the delicate balance between Russia and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, has been a cornerstone of European security. A cold peace, often fraught with suspicion, yet largely avoiding direct military conflict. However, recent events suggest this fragile equilibrium is under unprecedented strain. From repeated airspace incursions to escalating rhetoric, the question on many minds is, are we witnessing the prelude to a direct armed confrontation? Tonight, we delve into the latest developments, dissecting the incidents, the geopolitical stakes, and the potential pathways forward. In recent weeks, the frequency and audacity of Russian military activities near NATO borders have reached alarming levels. What was once an occasional probing of defenses has evolved into a pattern of persistent incursions, particularly into the airspace of NATO member states like Estonia, Poland, and Romania. On September 10th, a significant incident saw Russian drones violating Polish airspace, prompting an immediate response from the North Atlantic Council. This was not an isolated event. Just days prior, Russian fighter jets reportedly entered Estonian skies, leading to strong condemnations from Tallinn and its allies. Denmark, too, has reported disruptions, with drones observed over military bases, leading to temporary airport closures. These actions are not merely accidental deviations. Analysts suggest these are deliberate tests of NATO's resolve and response capabilities, designed to sow uncertainty and demonstrate Russia's reach. Moscow, for its part, often denies these incursions or dismisses them as unintentional. Yet the pattern speaks volumes. The diplomatic fallout has been swift and sharp. NATO officials have unequivocally warned Russia that any aggression against member states will be met with a decisive response, invoking the principle of collective defense under Article 5 of the NATO Treaty. British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper explicitly stated that Moscow's reckless actions risk a direct armed confrontation. Conversely, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has stated that Russia has no intention of attacking EU or NATO states, but warned that any aggression against Russia would be met with a decisive response. This exchange of strong words underscores the heightened tensions and the dangerous game of brinkmanship being played out on the international stage. Why this sudden surge in provocations? The motivations behind Russia's actions are multifaceted. Some analysts suggest it's a direct response to perceived NATO expansion and military buildup near its borders, particularly in the context of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. By testing NATO's defenses, Moscow might be aiming to expose weaknesses, gauge response times, and perhaps even deter further Western support for Ukraine. Economically, Russia continues to face significant sanctions, and some speculate that these military displays could be a way to divert internal attention or project strength on the global stage. There's also the element of political messaging, a clear signal to both domestic and international audiences that Russia remains a formidable power, unwilling to be sidelined. For NATO, the implications are profound. These incidents force the alliance to constantly reassess its readiness and collective defense strategies. The unity of its member states is being tested, and the need for a coherent, robust response is paramount. The risk of miscalculation is ever present. A single incident, a mistaken identity, or an overzealous response could quickly spiral into a much larger conflict. The current situation presents a classic paradox of deterrence. Both sides are attempting to deter the other through displays of strength, yet these very displays increase the risk of accidental escalation. Russia's incursions are designed to project power and test boundaries, while NATO's firm responses aim to demonstrate resolve and prevent further encroachment. It's a high-stakes game where the lines between deterrence and provocation are increasingly blurred. One might observe a certain theatricality in these maneuvers. Is it a grand performance for domestic consumption, a geopolitical pantomime designed to distract from internal challenges? Or is it a genuine, albeit dangerous, assertion of national interests? The answer, perhaps, lies somewhere in between, a complex interplay of strategic objectives and political posturing. The international community, particularly the United Nations, has been actively involved in discussions, urging de-escalation and dialogue. However, the effectiveness of these diplomatic efforts remains to be seen in the face of hardened positions. The question is whether diplomacy can prevail, or if the current trajectory inevitably leads to a more direct confrontation. For the United States, the European Union, and other NATO members, the challenge is to maintain a unified front, reinforce deterrence without provoking an all-out conflict, and continue supporting Ukraine while managing the broader security landscape. For Russia, the path forward involves balancing its security concerns and geopolitical ambitions with the immense costs of further isolation and potential military escalation. The current state of Russia-NATO relations is a stark reminder of the volatile nature of international politics. The repeated incursions into NATO airspace, coupled with the escalating rhetoric, paint a concerning picture. While both sides claim defensive postures, the risk of miscalculation or accidental engagement grows with each incident. The world watches, hoping that statesmanship and diplomacy will ultimately prevail over the dangerous dance of brinkmanship. The stakes, after all, could not be higher. Thank you for joining us. Good night.